Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Right, as promised, the first programming, we're doing Space Invaders. Right, I have it programmed here. Just booting it up. Alright, we've got left, right, 2 buttons, fire, 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 and as you see the invader comes down. The more he comes down, the faster he comes down. Fire. And when he reaches the bottom, I'm afraid game over. Right, I'm going to show you how you program this step by step. It's very simple. I'm going to start off simple. So just watch everything. Program it. If you program it exactly the same as I'm going to show you on the screen, you get the same game, but please, I beg you to play with the code, see what it all does. I'm going to explain as best as I can what each bit of the code does, but if you want to, please tweak and make it your own. Okay, right, now on to the tutorial. Okay, right, the first thing we need to do is go to the Micro Bit website, which is www.microbit.co.uk. Right, from there you can watch videos and there's lots of other things you can explore, but what we're interested in is this one here, create code. Right, once in there we've got actually 4 different languages. We've got JavaScript, Block Editor, Touch Developer and Python. These top 3 will actually emulate the microbit, so you don't have to download the program to see what it does. And I'm going to go for the easiest and the most enjoyable one to play with, and that's the Block Editor. You can convert anything you make in the Block Editor into the Touch Developer, but we're going to start with the Block Editor, which is just initializing the page at the moment. We have our microbit demo here, a blank screen and lots of choices. Well, this is a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. So to make our Space Invaders, what I want to do is plonk our base station down first. So the first thing I want to do is create a sprite, which, let's just drag this piece. So we've got a sprite and we want to put it x2 y4, so down the bottom here, so x2 y4. But we've got to name this sprite, so let's do a set item, and I'm going to call it, what should I call it? Should we call it base? That makes sense. Didn't type that very well, did I? I'll leave all capitals, base. So immediately this creates a sprite at this point here, and that is called base, which we're going to refer to further on. If we do a run, as you see, it's just created the base. Now we want to do something with that base, and we've got the 2 buttons here. Let's make these buttons move it left and right. So let's just move this out of the way, and obviously input on button. I'm going to have 2 of these, input, and as you see I can do A, B or A plus B. So this is A and B. Right, so when we press button A, we want our sprite to move to the left by 1. So let's have a look in game where sprites are. So we could use the change. We could use to move? I'm going to use the change actually. So I'm going to do button A. Right. So when button A is pressed, I want to change X of obviously base. So get the variable base by, let's put that one down there. I want to come this way, so I want to say -1. -1. Now what I want to do is do exactly the same again for the other way. So change X of base. I've done base. Maths I want by 1. So if I press B, it adds 1, so it goes this way on X. If I press A, it takes 1 off of X, so it comes this way. So if we just run this, so if I press A, why isn't that moving? Okay, that should have moved. It's probably because this one's running still. Let's put a 0 X, hold on, X is 2, should be 2,4. Let's try that. Oh, I see what I've done. You can see them. I've used a set. I don't want set. Did tell you I make mistakes. I want to change X of, I'll nick that one, base by 1. Okay, don't want set. I want to change. Hope you was all watching that. Right, now let's try it again. Right, so we can go left, right. That's left. There's right. Left, right. So we're animating our base. Right, now what I want to do is I don't want this to run all the time, and I don't know when it's running, so what I'm going to do, these work independently. They're almost like interrupt driven, so when you press that, the processor will service this command, but I want to know what it's doing throughout the rest of the program. So I'm going to do a loop. So now I know it's going to set my base, and then while true, I can have all my program running in this while true, and it'll only run this top bit once. Right, now what do we want to do now? We've got our animation on here. Right, let's animate a missile. So let's have an input. Let's have a button press again. But obviously I've got to have A plus B. So A plus B is going to be our fire. Right. What do I need? I obviously need, the missile needs to be a sprite. So I definitely know I need that. The missile needs to appear here. Right, okay, as I was saying, we want to set our missile. So we need one of these create sprite icons, and same as we did here, we need to set it. Create. Where is it? Yep, we need to define it as something. Let's click that together. And what should we call it? Missile. Missile, probably spelt wrong, but it doesn't matter. It's a variable name. So at the moment, our missile is at 2,2. We don't want that. We want it to be Y3, so it appears here. So Y3. X wherever this is, so we can do some, let's have X of our base variables. So the X it gets from the X of the base, and the Y we've defined as 3. Right, let's just link that up. So when we press A and B, immediately above where our base is, the missile will appear. Well, it's just going to stay there. We need to animate it up the screen. So for this, I'm going to do a loop. So we got loops. We could do a repeat, couldn't we? Because we know how many times it's going to go up. But I'm going to use a for loop. So for I is 0, so that's that. That's 0, so that's 1, 2, 3. So 0 to 3, is it? No, we're already there because it plonks it there, so that'd be 1, 2, 3. Will it be 3? Will it be 2? So there's 0, there's from there to there is 0, from there to there is 1, from there to there is 2. No, it's 2. So run 3 times. And then we want to, what we got? Oh, change. Let's do change. I don't want to change X because that's across here. I want to change the Y. So it's going up here. You can, there's lots of different things you can do. You make it different colors, blink in and change direction. But for this one, we're just changing the Y of missile, obviously, by 1. Now that will run through that at a hell of a speed because processors are really fast, so we need to slow it down, otherwise we're not even going to see this missile. So in basic there's a pause. So pause 100. Okay, so that missile is going to go from there, and every 100 milliseconds is going to go donk, 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 but then it's going to stop there. So what do we want to do? Well, what we need to do is once it's finished going through this cycle, I'm going to set its brightness to 0 so we can't see it. Where's that going to be? 6. I think it was that one. So we can set the brightness of missile to 0. Only problem is the brightness is at 0, but it's still there. So if our Vader appears there, it's going to kill the Invader and give us a point, which we don't want to do. So I am going to then move it down out of the way. You can do a right click because I'm using the same block, and duplicate. But I want to, let's change the Y, and I want to move it down into this region to 4. So it won't be switched on and it'll be hidden out of the way. So hopefully this works. So we've got the left, right, and this routine should fire the missile. Let's try and see what happens. Left, right, and this button here does the A plus B. Didn't see anything. Okay, so we've got something and miss. What have we got to miss? Okay, equals 1 to 2. Change Y of missile. Of course, Y is 4, and I'm changing it so it's going 5, 6, 7. I need it to go the other way, so this number should be -1. So it goes Y4, Y3. Right, let's try again. Right, left, right, and about missile. Missile, good. Move again. It's not lighting up here, and I think it's not lighting up here because this runs very fast. So I'm going to have a pause. It's just, if I put a pause in here, then you'll see it light up here before it runs this. Right, so that should make it left, right, left, fire. Okay, that looks absolutely superb. Right, we've got that. Left, right, fire. Now what we need is our Invader, or something to shoot at, shall I say. Which we're going to animate him in this loop here, which is, there's nothing in there at the moment, but it will be continuously rotating around that. And again, because it rotates around this loop very fast, the first thing I'm going to put in is a pause. Let's slow it down to human speed. So basic pause 200, and again you can actually speed the whole game up by changing this value. Right, now let's have a look. We need an Invader to actually appear somewhere along here so we can shoot him. So let's go to game. We definitely need a sprite. It's going to be on Y0, but we want it totally random on X. So maths, pick a random number between 0 and 4. Absolutely brilliant. So it's going to pick a random number for X between 0 and 4. So any one of these top lines. And again, we need to set set the sprite's name. So, and let's call him He's the Invader. Right, I'm going to plonk this here. So immediately I run this, it puts an Invader at the top, our base at the bottom. Let's run that. Okay, there's our Invader. If I run it again, it randomly appears somewhere else, which is good. Right. Let's move all this up. Now what we do want to detect is if our missile hits the Invader, because it's not at the moment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add an if statement in here, because this is when it's animating the missile up. So if it detects it hits this Invader, it's going to increase our score and get rid of that Invader. So loops. Well, nope. Logic. I'm doing a bit of logic. If. What have we got in game? There you go, look, there's a touching. If variable missile is touching Invader, so I'll move one and then I'll check to see if it's touching. If not, I'll ignore it. When it does touch, then we can do some jiggery pokery. I am going to variables. Let's do change new variable score by 1. Yeah, 1. So we change the score by 1. There is actually a command which is change score by 1, but this I found doesn't work, nor does the game over. They work sometimes, they're very quirky, so we're going to code it straight. It gives you more flexibility, and it'll also help you understand a bit more. Right, so if missile equals hits the Invader, we add 1 to score. That's the important thing, isn't it, really? Now the next thing is we're going to make him disappear and reappear somewhere else. So because there's a sprite on the screen, let's just move him. So game, well, I can use that horrible set which buggered me up earlier on. So X of Invader, and can I actually have that? So we randomly pick an X of Invader, and I will also make sure Y is set to 0. This is for later on. So I need the same thing again. So game set Y of Invader to 0. Okay, and we can run this. Let's see how it works. That's the beauty. We can run it and see if we've screwed anything up. Right. Fire. What happens if I hit him there? Fire. There he disappears. Fire. 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 He's obviously just reappeared in the same place. Fire. Okay, that's looking good. That's working really well. Right, the next thing is this is quite easy, but you don't die. You can just carry on. So I think what we need to do is we need to move Mr. Invader down, and if Mr. Invader gets to Y4, game over. So you got to shoot him. He's going to be dropping down. If he gets to 4, game's over. Of course, it's going to be pretty simple to start off with, but we can speed up how fast he comes down. So first thing is we've got to animate him coming down. Right, now we need to animate him coming down. It needs to be in this true loop, but even at 200 milliseconds, this Invader is going to hit bottom in under the second. So let's do it. So every 20 times it goes around this loop or whatever, it will drop a position here, and then as the game gets longer, or you last longer, we can actually reduce this until it only takes a second for him to fall down. So the first thing, I want to produce a little counter, just to count how many times I've gone through this loop. So I'm going to add a few more variables. I'm going to variables. One that I forgot to do is I'm going to set set new variable score. I'm surprised that doesn't actually appear there. I'm going to set score to 0 because remember I said at the beginning it'll run this first and then go around this loop. Well, I want to refresh the score to 0 as soon as we boot it up, so the score is always 0. And I'm also going to create another variable. I can remember where it is. And I'm going to call this start. Maths, one of them. That's 20. So I'm going to have it say it goes through this loop 20 times for every count, but in the game I can change these values to speed the game up. So I need a variable called count to count how many times we've been through this loop. So let's what we got? Change x, change score, no. Maths, no. Variables, change. How about that? Change. I want a new variable called count, counter, whatever you want to call it. I want to call it count. And I'm going to change it by, 1 should be fine. So then I want to put a logic. Plug this here. And I want if the count equals start, so if it's gone through it 20 times I can then reset things. So we want logic equals, do that one. So if variables, obviously, where's count? New variable, count. If count is equal to variable start, I can set the count to 0. So variable set count, set count to 0. So it's going to go through here. Count's going to increase by 1 every time it goes through the loop. When it hits 20, it's going to reset to 0. So yeah, it's going to go 1 to 20, reset, 1 to 20, reset for the rest of its life. Right, what else do we need? Right, so if it equals to that, right, that is equal to 20. This happens, this is how it will be valid every 20 cycles of this. So this will run 20 times slower than the rest of this. So let's do our change. So again, change y, because we want to change the y of Invader, and we want to go by 1, so by 1, yep, by 1. So every 20 counts the Invader will drop So let's hit the run. Let's see how it animates up. Okay, as you see, he's moved down one, and if we shoot him, he'll appear at the top again, start dropping down, which is good. Right, now what do we need to do? See, that's fine. Thing is, he's reached the bottom and there's no game over. So we need to put some logic. So we need another if statement in here. Logic if. I'm going to, before I change the count, I think. No, so in between. Oh dear. When you're in now, I think. Right, now we want to know if Invader equal is here. We need game over. So if game X of, yeah, that'd do. No, it won't. No. Don't want that. Game. We've got to do some logic here, haven't we? So I want that X of, I want actually Y of, don't I? So Y of variable Invader. Now we'll do some logic on here. So let's have this one. So we click that in there. So X of Invader is, let's do equal then greater than 4. So when it hits 4, that becomes true. And so right, that goes in our if statement. So basically, if this statement's true, it's game over for us. So it's game over. So let's show game over. Oh. Game over. Score. Because this will become a scrolling message. So it says game over, score. And then I'm going to put pause. Nothing like in anticipation, but I'm only going to make you wait 200 milliseconds. And show number, score. Okay, should we try this? Run it. And we can play it over here. 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, oh, get you 4 points. Right, should have about 4 points, and let's let that drop down, and then game over should appear. Right, game over. As you can see, it's scrolling across the screen. Over. Score 5. And it's going to keep going around that because the Invader is still on it, so this will always be true until we hit the reset button, and then the game will start again. So I'll end up just trapped in this loop, showing you game over, pausing, and then giving you the score. So that's ideal, I think. Like I said, you can edit this to your heart's content, add extra invaders whenever you want. This is just going through it step by step what it does. Right, now this game is a bit too easy, so let's do it. The further it gets down, then the faster it gets. Right, let's have a look. So we know that every 20 times it does this and drops it down. So why don't we just put an if statement in here? Loops. Nope. Logic. If do I need an if here? No. What I will do first, so I'm jumping the gun, as you probably gathered, I have programmed this before just to test out all the bugs, which is unusual for me. I normally just run with it. Right, so we want to go every time it moves down, it gets faster. So let's have a game set X off. No. Loops. Come on, where are you? Maths. No. Variables. Set. So this is in the part that one runs every 20 times. And it moves the Invader down. But once it moves the Invader down, I'm going to take one. I'm going to take one off start. So instead of being 20, it'd be 19. So immediately, this goes round 20 loops, and then once it drops down one, it goes round 19 times. Drops down one, then goes around the loop 18 times, drops down one, goes around 17 times. So this gets increasingly faster. Now we need some maths. We want a minus, so we want set start to, and we need itself -1. But we don't want to go too far. We need to stop it going too far, hence the if. Like I said, I was thinking ahead of myself, so I've got to do some more logic. So if start is equal to 4. So it's only going around this loop 4 times. Then I'm going to set it to 5. So this actually stops it going too fast. So what do I want? Set maths variable. It is math now. Set, there it is. Set start maths to 5. So basically it's going to come in here as 5. I'm going to take one off to make it 4. If it detects it's 4, it's going to turn it to 5. So this loop will be going around here 20 times, then it go around 18 times, 17 times, until it hits 5, and then it'll just be going around 5 times, and the speed will be a constant. So let's give that a run. So you can drop down. So it's only going around 18 times now, and you'll notice the drop in will start to increase. Takes a little time. And whether the computer will show it, I do not know. Should do. No, it doesn't seem to be. Right, I can see a problem. Oh dear. That there. Minus 1 equals plus, so it's actually going to get slower. So actually, let's just take... I'm sure there's just a... No, actually I can do that. So I can either change that or change that. So I'll just change that by 1. Right. So it takes 1. Minus equals a plus. Basic maths. Yeah, we'll get it wrong even at my age. Okay. Now it should speed up instead of slow down. Let's have a look. Yeah, because we don't want the game getting easier, do we? And this is basically it at the moment. I'm going to leave it up to yourself to add extra invaders, make it faster. Instead of you could, instead of pressing the oops, better shoot him. Oh, I missed him. Instead of using the A, B buttons, why not use the accelerometer? So you've got to tilt it left, tilt it right, maybe even tilt it forward to fire. These are all changes you can do yourself and experiment yourself. But hopefully that was good, and keep coding, let us know how you get on. I'm sure I get people saying there's already a game over routine, and there's already a add score routine. What I did find, if you actually use the where is it, the change score routine from here, you can fire a missile once, and when you fire it again it won't work. It will on the emulation on the computer, it will not on the the actual micro bit. So yeah, Microsoft need to do a bit of work on their change score and also their game over. There is an issue with both of those, but they're very simple to get over. And like I said, this is a bit more flexible because now you can change this text to whatever you want now, and the pause you can change it to do whatever you want. So it's more flexible like this. It does take a few more lines of code though. And that's Invaders. So hope you enjoyed it. Our next game, which I must admit I've already done, is Asteroid Navigator. It's very similar. You don't shoot. You got to feel. You got your base as usual. So it's utilising these A and B. There's no shoot. The invaders come down, but it's not just one invader. Each line has an invader, and these are streaming towards you, and you have to miss them. The game doesn't end when they reach Y4. The game ends if they hit you. So you're navigating through an asteroid field. That's the next game, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, many thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this series. And yeah, I'm sure I could have programmed it differently, but yeah, I've had the Micro Bit about 2 days and this is what I've accomplished. So yeah, get into it. This is quite good. Before I do go, what I will, if you say, I'm going to say about this, if you hit convert, it converts to the other Microsoft program. Now if you hit compile, I'm going to hit compile. And you can save this hex file. Now this hex file is your program, and you drag and drop this into the micro bit drive that appears on your computer when you plug it into the USB port. It appears as if it's like a USB stick where you drag and drop this program on and it will load it up for you so you can be gaming away. I'll just quickly show you the convert, because that will actually, this converts it into right. Now this is the other editor, and this has converted it into a text base. So you can now look and see how it's constructed this. You may find this more logical. I found the other one, the puzzle pieces was more excitable to put together. The beauty of this one is you can very easily change the order of the way the program works. And again, compile is exactly the same. Okay, hope that was interesting. Hope you had fun programming that. Don't forget, tweak anything you want. Why not have 2 invaders on the screen at once randomly? That would make it more difficult. Why not speed it up and have 2 invaders? Just tweak around, make it your own. There's no copyright to it. Just have fun, learn how it works and how you can change it for whatever you want. I mean, you don't have to have the score added, you know, incrementing by 1. You could have, you get 1 point if it's up here, 2 points if it's a bit lower, 3 points if it's a bit lower, 4 points if it's a bit lower. So you could have a scoring system like that. It's all going to be up to you. Hope it was interesting anyway, and yeah, I enjoyed making it. So many thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be doing more and more. I ain't going to just stick to games. I'm not a gamey type person. I'm going to be doing lots of other things with it, not just games. First couple of games, which don't use any external hardware and that. It's quite nice just playing around to see how it works. Okay, many thanks.